Hello, and welcome to Whisper Garden, a quiet corner of YouTube where gentle stories help you slow down, unwind, and drift off to sleep. You'll find a new sleepy time tale here every week, told in soft, soothing tones designed to calm your mind and ease you into restful slumber. I'd be so grateful if you'd like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's a small gesture that makes a big difference and helps more dreamers like you find their way here. Sweet dreams. Tonight's story will help you release the day's tensions and guide you into the most peaceful, restorative sleep you've had in weeks. As we journey together to the Stillness Inn, your mind will naturally let go of every worry, every racing thought, every concern that has been keeping you awake. Within the next hour, you'll find yourself drifting deeper and deeper into tranquil slumber, wrapped in the gentlest embrace of complete relaxation. We're visiting a place that exists between sleeping and waking, a magical inn nestled in fog-wrapped woods where time moves like honey and silence has its own gentle voice. Here, in rooms draped with velvet and warmed by flickering firelight, guests arrive when they need healing most. Tonight, you are that guest, and the inn has been waiting for you with infinite patience and understanding. Get comfortable now, letting your body sink completely into your bed. Close your eyes and allow your breathing to naturally slow and deepen as we begin this gentle journey together. Feel your shoulders relaxing, your jaw softening, your hands unclenching as we step together into the misty twilight that leads to the Stillness Inn. Chapter 1. The door that opens itself. You find yourself walking along a path you don't remember choosing, through woods wrapped in the softest gray mist. The fog moves around you like silk scarves, never quite touching, never quite clearing, creating a gentle buffer between you and the world you've left behind. Your footsteps make no sound on the moss-covered ground. Even your breathing seems muffled here, as if the very air has been quilted with peace. The trees around you are ancient and kind, their branches reaching toward each other like old friends holding hands. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the faintest chiming of wind bells, so soft they might be imagined, so gentle they seem to ring in harmony with your slowly beating heart. The sound draws you forward, not with urgency, but with the same quiet pull that draws water downhill. As you walk, you notice that your shoulders are dropping lower with each step. The weight you've been carrying, the stress of deadlines, the burden of endless to-do lists, the heaviness of difficult conversations, begins to lift away like morning mist touched by sunshine. Here, in these whispering woods, none of that seems important anymore. Here, there is only the soft crunch of leaves beneath your feet and the gentle rhythm of your own peaceful breathing. The path curves ahead, and through the silvery mist, you glimpse warm yellow light flickering between the trees. Not electric light, too harsh, too bright, but the golden glow of candles and fireplaces, the welcoming illumination of a place that understands the need for gentle illumination. As you round the bend, the Stillness Inn reveals itself like a secret whispered just for you. The building seems to have grown from the forest itself, its dark wood walls blending seamlessly with the surrounding trees. Ivy climbs its sides in graceful loops, and from every window glows that same warm, honey-colored light. The roof is covered in moss and small wildflowers that seem to bloom even in the twilight. Wind chimes hang from the eaves, singing their quiet songs to the evening air. You approach the front door, heavy oak weathered smooth by countless seasons, and notice that it stands slightly ajar, as if it has been waiting for you. The brass handle is warm beneath your palm, warmer than it should be, as if the inn itself is welcoming you home. As you push the door open, it swings soundlessly on well-oiled hinges, revealing a lobby bathed in the gentlest light. The interior of the Stillness Inn wraps around you like a favorite blanket. The floors are covered in thick, deep carpets that muffle every sound. Tapestries hang on the walls, their colors muted and soothing. Forest greens, dusty roses, the deep blue of a peaceful evening sky. A fire crackles softly in a slow fireplace, its flames dancing a slow, hypnotic waltz. The air smells of lavender and old books, of beeswax candles, and something indefinably comforting, like the scent memory of your grandmother's house. From somewhere deeper in the inn comes the sound of footsteps, slow and measured, accompanied by the soft whisper of fabric against fabric. An elderly man emerges from the shadows near the fireplace, moving with the unhurried grace of someone who has all the time in the world. This is Reed, the innkeeper, though he never needs to introduce himself. You know him instantly, the way you know the feeling of coming home. Reed's hair is silver white, swept back from a face lined with years of gentle smiles. His eyes are the color of fog at dawn, neither gray nor blue, but something in between. He wears a long coat that might once have been burgundy, but has faded to the color of autumn leaves. When he speaks, his voice is like water over smooth stones, unhurried and infinitely patient. "We've been expecting you," Reed says, "and somehow you're not surprised. Of course they have been expecting you. This place exists for travelers like you, people who have forgotten how to be still, who have lost the art of listening to their own hearts. Your room is ready." He moves to an old wooden desk near the fireplace, its surface covered with leather-bound ledgers and brass instruments whose purposes seem wonderfully mysterious. From a drawer lined with green felt, he withdraws a key, not modern plastic, but real brass, heavy and warm, with an ornate handle shaped like a sleeping moon. The number 7 is engraved in its surface, filled with what looks like silver. "Room 7, Reed says, placing the key in your palm. "Up the stairs, third door on the left. The house will guide you if you lose your way." He pauses, looking at you with those fog-colored eyes. "Dinner will be waiting when you're ready, but there's no hurry. Here, time moves as slowly as you need it to." You climb the stairs, each step sinking slightly into the thick runner that lines the center of each tread. The banister is smooth mahogany, polished by countless hands, and as you run your fingers along its surface, you feel some of the day's remaining tension dissolve through your fingertips. The stairs don't creak. Nothing in the Stillness Inn makes harsh sounds. Instead, they seem to exhale gently beneath your weight, as if the house itself is breathing slowly and deeply. The hallway at the top of the stairs stretches in both directions, lined with doors painted in deep, restful colors. Sconces shaped like sleeping flowers hold candles that flicker without drafts, casting dancing shadows that seem to sway in time with your heartbeat. You count doorways as you walk. 1, 2, 3, and there is room 7, its number painted in the same silver as the key's engraving. The key slides into the lock as if it has been waiting for this moment for years. The mechanism turns with a soft click that sounds like a contented sigh, and the door swings open to reveal your sanctuary. Room 7 is exactly what your weary soul has been craving. The walls are paneled in dark wood and hung with tapestries in shades of midnight blue and deep forest green. A 4-poster bed dominates the space, its frame carved with vines and flowers, its mattress piled high with quilts and pillows that look as soft as clouds. A fire burns low in a small fireplace, its flames barely more than a warm glow, just enough to chase away any hint of chill. But it's what you see on the bed that stops you completely. There, resting on the quilted coverlet, is a small music box. You recognize it instantly, though you haven't seen it in years, decades perhaps. It's made of dark wood inlaid with mother of pearl, its lid decorated with a scene of a garden under starlight. This was yours once, long ago, before life became complicated, before you forgot the simple pleasure of listening to a gentle melody before sleep. You approach the bed slowly, hardly daring to believe what you're seeing. As you reach out to touch the music box, your fingers tremble slightly. The wood is warm, as if it has been sitting in sunlight, and the mother of pearl catches the firelight and throws it back in tiny dancing rainbows. Without winding it, without even opening the lid, the music box begins to play. The melody is exactly as you remember. A simple tune, neither major nor minor, but something in between that speaks of twilight and peaceful endings. The notes fall into the quiet room like drops of silver, each one perfectly clear, perfectly placed. As the music plays, you notice that the room around you seems to be listening too. The fire settles lower, burning more steadily. The curtains hang more still. Even the air feels more attentive, as if holding its breath to better hear the gentle song. You sit on the edge of the bed, the music box cradled in your hands, and for the first time in longer than you can remember, you feel completely, utterly safe. The melody continues, repeating its simple theme with infinite patience, and with each repetition, you feel yourself sinking deeper into a state of perfect peace. Your eyelids grow heavy, but you don't fight it instead. You lie back against the pillows, still holding the music box, and let the gentle song carry you toward the edge of sleep. But sleep doesn't come immediately, and that's all right. Instead, you lie in the warm darkness, eyes closed, listening to the music box play its endless, comforting song. The room breathes around you, soft inhales and exhales that match your own slowing rhythm. Somewhere far below, you can hear the inn settling into its own restful quiet, the ancient wood sighing contentedly, the stones in the fireplace holding and releasing heat in gentle, rhythmic pulses. The music box continues to play, its melody weaving through your consciousness like a silver thread, binding together all the scattered pieces of your day, your week, your weary heart. And as you listen, you begin to understand something that has eluded you for far too long. Peace is not something you have to earn or achieve or fight for. Peace is something you can simply accept. Your breathing slows even more, matching the gentle rhythm of the inn around you. The music box plays on, and the fire whispers soft lullabies, and the fog outside wraps the entire world in the gentlest embrace. Here, in room 7 of the Stillness Inn, time has slowed to match the pace of your healing heart. Chapter 2: The House That Hears. You drift in and out of the lightest sleep, never quite sinking into dreams, never quite returning to full wakefulness. It's a peaceful, liminal space, soft and gray, like the fog outside your window. The music box has fallen silent, but its melody still echoes gently in your mind, a silver thread connecting you to something you had almost forgotten. The simple joy of being still. When you finally open your eyes, the fire has burned down to glowing embers, and the candles have shortened but never flickered out. The inn seems to understand exactly how much light you need, never too bright, never completely dark. You rise from the bed slowly, your body feeling different than when you arrived, looser, warmer, as if tight knots in your muscles have been gently massaged away by invisible hands. The floorboards beneath your feet are warm and smooth, worn to silk by countless footsteps. As you pad across the room in your bare feet, they make no sound, but you sense that the house is aware of your movement. Not watching exactly, but listening in the most benevolent way, the way a loving parent might listen for a child stirring from peaceful sleep. You open the door to find the hallway exactly as you left it, but somehow more welcoming. The candles in their flower-shaped sconces have burned lower, but burn more steadily, their flames barely moving in the still air. As you step into the corridor, you hear it, or think you hear it, a sound so soft it might be imagined. The faintest whisper of voices, speaking words just below the threshold of understanding. You pause, listening more carefully, and realize the voices are coming from the house itself. The settling of old wood creates tones that sound almost like conversation. The soft expansion and contraction of the heating pipes creates rhythms that could be breathing. The gentle movement of air through hidden spaces makes sounds like distant laughter, like the murmur of friends sharing secrets by a warm fire. The house is talking to itself, and somehow, impossibly, you understand that it's talking about you. Not gossiping, nothing so mundane, but acknowledging your presence with the same quiet joy a garden might feel when visited by a beloved friend. You are welcome here. You belong here. The house itself is telling you this in its own gentle language of sighs and whispers. You find yourself walking toward the stairs, drawn by the warm light still glowing from the lobby below. As you descend, your hand trailing along the smooth banister, you notice something wonderful. Each step responds to your touch with the softest musical tone, as if the staircase itself is a giant, gentle instrument. The notes it makes are hardly audible, felt more than heard, but they create a descending melody that matches your slow progress toward the main floor. In the lobby, the fire has been renewed. Fresh logs rest on the grate, burning with the same quiet intensity as before, never crackling or popping, just radiating steady warmth and golden light. The deep armchairs near the fireplace seem to have adjusted themselves slightly, angled more invitingly toward the flames. Even the inn's furniture wants to comfort you. Reed appears as if he's been waiting there all along, though you're certain the chair he now occupies was empty when you passed through earlier. He doesn't startle you with his presence. Nothing about the Stillness Inn could startle anyone. Instead, he simply belongs to the scene, as natural as the firelight or the soft carpets or the gentle weight of peace that fills every corner of this magical place. "Did you rest well?" Reed asks, though his tone suggests he already knows the answer. He's holding a cup of something warm. You can see the steam rising from its surface in lazy spirals, and as he sets it on the small table beside his chair, the scent reaches you. Warm milk with honey, touched with just a hint of vanilla and something else, something that smells like comfort itself. I brought this for you, Reed continues, gesturing to a matching cup on the table nearest the chair that seems to be waiting for you. The house mentioned you might enjoy it. You settle into the chair, and it embraces you like an old friend. The upholstery is deep burgundy velvet, worn smooth in places, and as you sink into its depths, you feel the day's last tensions leaving your body. The warm milk is exactly the right temperature, exactly the right sweetness, as if it has been prepared specifically for your individual needs. As you sip the drink, Reed begins to speak. His voice has the same unhurried quality as everything else in the inn, each word placed with careful intention, each pause allowing space for contemplation. I once knew a guest, Reed says, his fog-colored eyes reflecting the firelight, who arrived here after forgetting how to speak. Not from any illness or injury, you understand, but from a lifetime of words being dismissed, of thoughts being interrupted, of having so much to say that eventually they chose to say nothing at all. You nod, recognizing something in this story, though you can't quite place what. They stayed in room 7, Reed continues, just as you are. And like you, they found something waiting for them, not a music box, but a small bell, silver, no bigger than their thumb, with the clearest, sweetest tone you've ever heard. They carried it with them as they explored the inn, and gradually they began to ring it. Softly at first, just tiny chimes that barely disturbed the air. Reed pauses to sip his own drink, and you find yourself leaning forward slightly, drawn into his gentle narrative. The house heard that bell, Reed says, and it began to respond. A creak here, a whisper there, as if the inn was learning the guest's language of gentle sounds, and slowly, over many peaceful nights, the guest remembered that communication isn't always about words. Sometimes it's about the quality of silence between sounds. Sometimes it's about the way a house listens when you ring a small silver bell. All right. As Reed finishes his story, you notice something extraordinary. The room around you has been listening too. The fire has settled into an even more peaceful rhythm. The air itself seems more attentive, and from somewhere deeper in the inn, you hear the faintest chiming of a silver bell, so soft it might be your imagination, so real you feel it resonate in your chest. Would you like to explore a bit? Reed asks. The inn has many rooms, and each one has something different to offer. The parlor has comfortable chairs and books that read themselves aloud. The conservatory has plants that sing lullabies. The library has volumes full of the most peaceful stories ever written. You nod, though you're not sure you can manage even that simple communication. Something about this place has made you forget how to be anything but perfectly, utterly still. The parlor is just through there, Reed says, pointing to an archway hung with curtains in deep forest green. Take your time. Take all the time you need. The house will make sure you find your way. You rise from your chair, leaving the half-finished cup of warm milk on the table. Reed smiles and nods, as if this is exactly what he expected, exactly what the house hoped you would do. As you approach the archway, The curtains part slightly on their own, revealing a room beyond that glows with the same gentle light as everywhere else in the inn. The parlor is exactly what your heart needs. Low sofas covered in midnight blue velvet face each other across a thick carpet patterned with silver stars. Bookshelves line the walls, filled with volumes whose titles seem to shimmer and change when you're not looking directly at them. In the center of the room, a small fireplace burns with flames that dance in perfect silence, casting no harsh shadows, creating only pools of warm golden light. You choose one of the sofas. They're identical, so it doesn't matter which. And as you settle into its depths, you discover something tucked beneath the velvet cushion beside you. Your fingers find the edge of what feels like paper, and you carefully withdraw an envelope made of cream-colored paper, heavy and textured, sealed with a drop of silver wax. The envelope bears no address, no name, nothing to indicate its intended recipient. But as you hold it, you know with complete certainty that it's meant for you. The knowledge comes not from any external source, but from somewhere deep inside, from a place that recognizes truth when it encounters it. You break the wax seal. It yields easily, as if it has been waiting years for exactly this moment, and unfold the letter inside. The paper is the same cream color as the envelope, and the words written on it are in your own handwriting, though you have no memory of writing them. The letter contains no date, no salutation, no signature, just words, arranged in your familiar script, expressing thoughts you've carried for years but never allowed yourself to speak aloud. I'm sorry for all the words I never said, for all the times I chose silence when I should have chosen courage, for all the moments when love was there, waiting to be expressed, and I let fear win instead. I'm sorry for the conversations we never finished, for the laughter we never shared, for the peace we never made with each other or with ourselves. But I'm also grateful for the quiet moments that taught me to listen, grateful for the silence that showed me the difference between emptiness and peace, grateful for all the unspoken words that eventually led me here, to this place where silence has its own gentle voice. I forgive myself for the words I never said. I forgive you for the words that hurt. I forgive us both for being human, for being imperfect, for being exactly what we needed to be to find our way to this moment of perfect, healing quiet. As you read these words you wrote but don't remember writing, words that express feelings you've carried but never acknowledged, something shifts inside your chest. Not a dramatic change, nothing that disturbs the perfect peace of this place, but a gentle settling, like a bird finally finding the perfect branch on which to rest. You find yourself mouthing the words as you read them a second time, your lips moving silently, your breath carrying the weight of long-held emotions finally being released. The fire crackles so softly in response, and from somewhere in the walls, you hear that whisper of voices again, the house listening, the house understanding, the house holding space for your healing. And then, as you mouth the words a third time, something miraculous happens. The music box in your room begins to play again, its melody drifting down through the floors and walls to reach you here in the parlor. The silver notes blend with the whispered conversations of the house itself, creating a symphony of gentle sounds that seems to emanate from your own healing heart. You lean back against the velvet cushions, the letter still in your hands, and close your eyes. The music continues, and the house continues its soft conversation, and the fire continues its silent dance. And for the first time in longer than you can remember, you feel the possibility of words returning to you. Not harsh words or hurried words, or words spoken out of obligation, but gentle words, chosen carefully, spoken with love. But not yet, not tonight. Tonight is for listening. Tonight is for letting the stillness in hold you, while you remember that peace is not something you achieve through effort, but something you allow through acceptance. Tonight is for discovering that sometimes the most profound communication happens in the spaces between sounds, in the quality of attention you bring to the present moment, in the way a house can listen to your heart and respond with infinite tenderness. The letter rests in your lap, its words having done their work. The music box plays its endless, comforting melody. The house breathes around you with the rhythm of perfect contentment, and you sit in the parlor of the Stillness Inn, wrapped in velvet and firelight and the most gentle silence you've ever experienced, feeling your heart slow to match the peaceful pace of this magical place, where healing happens naturally, like flowers blooming in a well-tended garden. Chapter 3. The silence that speaks back. When you next become aware of your surroundings, pale light is filtering through the parlor windows, but it's not the harsh light of morning. Instead, it's the same gentle, silvery illumination that seems to exist everywhere around the Stillness Inn. Neither day nor night, but something perfectly in between. A twilight that lasts as long as you need it to. You realize you've been sleeping in the parlor, curled on the midnight blue sofa, with the letter still resting gently in your hands. But this isn't the uncomfortable sleep of someone who dozed off by accident. This is the deep, restorative rest that comes when your body finally trusts that it's completely safe, completely supported, completely free to surrender to peace. As you slowly sit up, stretching muscles that feel wonderfully relaxed, you notice something different about the room. The bookshelves that line the walls are humming, not audibly, but with a vibration you can feel in your bones, as if all the peaceful stories they contain are resonating in harmony. The titles on their spines are clearer now, no longer shimmering and changing, but steady and readable. The Garden of Quiet Hours, Lullabies for the Weary Heart, The Art of Gentle Conclusion. The letter in your hands feels different too, lighter somehow, as if the act of reading it, of letting its words settle into your heart, has freed it from some burden it was carrying. You fold it carefully and slip it into your pocket, where it rests against your chest like a small, warm blessing. You rise from the sofa and approach one of the tall windows that line the parlor's far wall. Outside, the fog has lifted slightly, revealing glimpses of the garden that surrounds the inn. You can see pathways lined with lavender, beds of roses that seem to bloom in slow motion, and benches placed at perfect intervals for quiet contemplation. In the distance, barely visible through the mist, you glimpse other figures moving slowly through the garden. Other guests, perhaps, or perhaps just the spirits of all the people who have found healing in this gentle place. From behind you comes the soft whisper of fabric against fabric, and you turn to find Reed standing in the archway, though you didn't hear him approach. He's carrying a tray with tea service, delicate porcelain cups and saucers, a pot that steams gently, small silver spoons that catch the light like captured stars. "Good morning," Reed says, though time seems to have no real meaning here, though I suppose it might be evening, or perhaps something entirely other. The Stillness Inn exists in its own season, its own hour. "Would you care for some tea?" You nod, and realize that the gesture feels different than it has for as long as you can remember. Less automatic, more intentional, a conscious choice to communicate, rather than a reflexive response. Reed sets the tray on a small table between the sofas and begins the ritual of preparing tea. His movements are impossibly graceful, each gesture deliberate and peaceful. The tea he pours is pale gold, and its steam carries scents of chamomile and something indefinably comforting, perhaps the essence of quiet afternoons or the fragrance of contentment itself. As you accept your cup, your fingers brush reeds for just a moment, and in that brief contact, you feel something extraordinary, the complete absence of judgment, the presence of infinite patience, the quality of attention that heals simply by witnessing. Reed sees you exactly as you are in this moment, tired but resting, silent but heard, lost but found, and accepts all of it with the same equanimity with which he accepts the fog and the firelight and the gentle breathing of the house around you. "You've been with us for exactly as long as you needed to be," Reed says, settling into the sofa across from yours. "Some guests stay for hours, others for what might be days or weeks. Time moves differently for each person according to their needs. But I sense that your visit is approaching its natural conclusion. The words don't create anxiety or sadness. Instead, they feel like the gentle completion of a circle, the satisfying final note of a melody that has played itself through to its destined end." You sip your tea and feel its warmth spreading through your chest, and with that warmth comes a recognition. You are different than when you arrived, not dramatically changed. The Stillness Inn doesn't deal in dramatic changes, but gently altered, like a photograph that has been subtly adjusted to bring out its natural beauty. "There's something you might like to see," Reed continues, "before you continue on your journey. Would you walk with me to the conservatory?" You set down your teacup and rise, following Reed through corridors you haven't explored before. The inn reveals new rooms and passages as you need them, as if it's a living entity that grows and shifts to accommodate the healing requirements of its guests. The conservatory, when you reach it, takes your breath away. The room is enclosed entirely in glass, but the glass is old and slightly wavy, creating a dreamy quality to the light that filters through it. Inside, the air is warm and moist, filled with the green scent of growing things and the soft music of water falling somewhere in the distance. Plants cascade from hanging baskets, trail along pathways, and climb toward the glass ceiling in gentle spirals of green and silver. But it's not just the beauty of the conservatory that moves you, it's the sound. Every plant is singing, their voices blending in harmonies so subtle they barely register as music, more like the sound of contentment itself. Ferns whisper lullabies, flowering vines hum gentle melodies. Even the moss on the stone pathways contributes its own soft bass note to the symphony of growing things. At the center of the conservatory stands a fountain, not grand or elaborate, but simple and perfect. Water rises from its center in a gentle arc and falls back with the softest splash, creating ripples that catch the filtered light and throw it back in ever-changing patterns. Beside the fountain is a mirror, tall and framed in silver, that has been polished to a soft glow. "Look," Reed says gently, guiding you toward the mirror. You approach slowly, and what you see in the reflection stops you completely. It's you, of course, but also not you. The face looking back is your own, but younger somehow. Not in years, but in the quality of peace it carries. The eyes are clearer, the expression softer, the lines of tension around your mouth have smoothed away. This is you as you might be if you carried no burdens, held no grudges, harbored no fears about the future or regrets about the past. And as you look at this peaceful version of yourself, something extraordinary happens. Your reflection mouths a single word, so softly that even you can barely hear it, so gently that it barely disturbs the air. But it's the first word you've spoken in longer than you can remember. "Hello." The conservatory responds immediately. The plant's singing grows slightly louder, more joyful. The fountain's splash takes on a musical quality. The light filtering through the glass ceiling seems to brighten and warm. Even Reed smiles, though he doesn't seem surprised by your quiet greeting. "Hello," your reflection mouths back, and you realize that you're not just talking to yourself in the mirror. You're greeting the part of you that has been waiting patiently for your return, the essential self that has remained whole and peaceful despite everything you've been through, the core of who you are when all the noise and urgency and fear are stripped away. You stand there for a long moment, looking at yourself with the same compassionate attention that Reed has shown you, that the inn itself has shown you. And gradually, you become aware that the house is listening to this moment too. The walls seem to lean in slightly. The floors seem more solid beneath your feet. The air itself seems more attentive. The Stillness Inn is witnessing your reunion with your own peaceful heart, and it's celebrating with every gentle creak and whisper. When you finally step back from the mirror, Reed is no longer beside you. Instead, there's a note resting on the edge of the fountain, written on the same cream-colored paper as the letter you found in the parlor. But this note is in Reed's careful handwriting, not your own. Take the quiet with you. It belongs to you now, earned through your willingness to listen, to rest, to remember who you are beneath all the noise. The Stillness Inn will always be here when you need it. But more importantly, the stillness itself lives within you now. Trust it. Use it. Let it guide you back to peace whenever the world grows too loud. Thank you for letting us care for you. Safe travels. You fold the note carefully and place it in your pocket alongside the letter, two pieces of paper that feel like anchors, like reminders of what you've learned in this magical place. Then you make your way back through the corridors of the inn, past the parlor where you read your own unremembered words, past the lobby where Reed first welcomed you, up the stairs that sing softly beneath your feet, to room 7. Your belongings are exactly where you left them, though you barely remember having any belongings when you arrived. The music box sits on the bed, silent now, but somehow still radiating the comfort of all the lullabies it has played. You pick it up, and it fits perfectly in your palm. as if it was designed specifically for your hand. The room feels different as you prepare to leave, not sad or abandoned, but satisfied, like a job well done. The fire has burned down to glowing embers, but the warmth remains. The quilts on the bed are turned down invitingly, ready for the next guest who will need their comfort. The velvet curtains hang in perfect stillness, holding space for whatever dreams they'll witness next. You tuck the music box into your coat pocket, where it rests against your heart beside the 2 folded letters. As you step into the hallway for the last time, you hear something that makes you pause. The gentle sound of someone else climbing the stairs, their footsteps creating the same soft melody yours made when you first arrived. Another traveler has found their way to the Stillness Inn, drawn by their own need for healing, for peace, for the reminder that silence can speak with the most loving voice of all. The front door of the inn stands open as you approach it, and the fog that surrounds the building has thinned to reveal the path that will lead you back to the world. But you're not the same person who walked this path in the other direction. You carry something now that you didn't have before, the knowledge that peace is always available, always present, always waiting for you to remember how to access it. As you step across the threshold and onto the path, you pause and turn back for one last look at the Stillness Inn. Reed is standing in the doorway, though you didn't see him approach. He raises one hand in a gesture that's part greeting, part blessing, part gentle farewell, and without thinking, without hesitation, you raise your own hand in response. "Thank you," you whisper, the second word you've spoken, and it feels like the most important thing you've ever said. Reed nods, understanding perfectly, and then steps back into the inn, closing the door gently behind him. But the warm light continues to glow in every window, a beacon for the next weary traveler who needs to remember that healing happens naturally when you create space for it, when you allow yourself to be held by something larger and more patient than your own worried mind. You begin walking down the path, the music box and letters resting against your heart, the memory of the inn's gentle embrace wrapped around you like an invisible shawl. The fog closes softly behind you, not cutting you off from the peace you've found, but ensuring that you carry it with you, woven so deeply into your being that no external circumstance can ever take it away. As you walk, you find yourself breathing more slowly, more deeply. Your footsteps create their own quiet rhythm on the moss-covered ground, and when a night bird calls from somewhere in the trees, you pause to listen, completely giving the sound the same quality of attention that the Stillness Inn gave to you. The bird calls again, and without planning it, without even thinking about it, you respond, not with words, but with a soft sound of your own, barely more than a breath, but enough to join the conversation. The night air carries your quiet greeting, and somewhere in the distance another bird answers, and then another, until you're walking through a forest full of gentle voices, all speaking in the same language of peaceful acknowledgement. The path curves ahead, leading back toward the life you left behind, but you know now that you're not returning unchanged. You carry within you the stillness of room 7, the listening presence of the house that hears, the reflection of your own peaceful face in the conservatory mirror. Most importantly, you carry the knowledge that silence is not empty. It's full of possibilities, full of healing, full of the gentle voice that speaks when all other voices have finally grown quiet. The music box pulses gently against your chest with each step, keeping time with your heart. The letters rustle softly in your pocket, their words having done their healing work. And as you walk through the forest, surrounded by the quiet conversations of night birds and the whispered lullabies of wind through leaves, you understand that you're not leaving the Stillness Inn behind at all. You're taking it with you. The inn lives now in the space between your thoughts, in the pause before you speak, in the quality of attention you bring to each moment. It lives in your willingness to listen, really listen, to the world around you and the world within you. It lives in your newfound ability to find peace, not by escaping from your life, but by approaching it with the same gentle patience that Reed showed you, that the house offered you, that you learned to give yourself. As the path begins to lighten ahead, leading you back toward familiar territory, you feel no sadness about leaving. The Stillness Inn was never meant to be a permanent escape from the world. It was meant to remind you that peace is portable, that healing is possible, that the capacity for deep rest lives within you always, waiting patiently for you to remember how to access it. You reach into your pocket and touch the music box one more time, feeling its smooth wooden surface, its delicate mother-of-pearl inlay. Then you whisper one final word into the gentle morning air, a word that feels like a promise, like a blessing, like a vow to carry this peace with you wherever you go. At times, the wind carries your whisper up through the trees and back toward the inn, where it settles into the walls and the windowsills and the soft cushions of room 7, waiting there for the next weary traveler who needs to remember that they, too, can find their way home to the stillness that lives within their own peaceful heart. And as you continue down the path, walking slowly and breathing deeply, the music box keeps perfect time with your steps, playing its gentle melody not through any mechanism, but through the rhythm of your own contented heartbeat, carrying you forward into a life made new by the simple, radical act of learning how to be still. Sleep well, dear traveler. The Stillness Inn will be waiting for you whenever you need to return. And remember, the deepest peace is always just one conscious breath away, always just one moment of gentle attention away, always just one choice to be still away. Rest now and let your dreams be filled with the softest silence, the gentlest light, and the most loving quiet you have ever known. May your dreams be gentle, may your sleep be deep, and when you wake, may you carry a little peace with you. If you enjoyed tonight's story, feel free to return any time. Good night and sweet dreams.